because I'm just waiting for it to connect real life. Hello and welcome everyone to the 10th episode of our D&D 5th edition campaign, Roaches. Did I just call it the 5th instead of the 10th? I think so. Also, I forgot to actually shout it out. Anyway, we're live. Today's recap will be done by Lodwick again. And yeah.
So, because of great evil and dark forces that have mingled, the last session was quite chaotic, broken up, and turned upside down. But basically, it filters to that. When the party left the city from which they are now fugitives, and pushed several days and several nights quite hard to reach the lake of the lake in time. Do not forget that they have all a poisonous wound on their hand, and that they're that they're living on borrowed time. So they arrived before noon at a small harbor of a little lake town. After inquiring if there was a healer, a doctor or something like that in town, and more specifically someone specialized in handling poisons and maybe even curing them, one of the dock workers directed the party to a small village as a settlement further on the shores of the lake. When arriving, so they left the lake town and arrived at the settlement. The settlement, if you can call it that way, it was more a mismatch of a few hovels and something like that, with a small with a wooden palisade, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
The party is greeted by a guard that is apparently happy to see that the members of the party, although some of them may look exotic, that they are, first, no monkeys, second, no zombies, which raised some eyebrows from the party. But they have their problems. Anyway, the guard was more than happy to invite the party into the settlement, and when asking again if they could direct them to the healer, the guard did so. The healer appeared to be a female Kuatoa. For those who are not familiar with D&D, they are a kind of anthropomorphized fish people, diminutive in size. She lives in a cave that was simply decorated with some pillows and a few curtains. She was prepared to give the medicine on the provision that the party would go fetch some ingredients for her so that she could make the said medicine. But because the party, already knowing that they are living on borrowed time and were quite afraid, and rightly so, that the time that they would finish that job would maybe be too late, they managed to convince the healer to still heal them. Fortunately, she had a batch of the medicine stashed somewhere. Arahant persuaded her to write a written contract established by himself or written by him, in which basically they agreed that upon receiving the cure right now from the Kuatoa healer, the party will oblige her in her request and gather some ingredients, amongst which is a plant called ash leaves that lives deep in the forest that is nearby the small settlement where they are now. Ash leaves are grayish in color. It's a leafy plant with spiny edges and who has a vaguely arrow-shaped or heart-shaped form. The party is also warned that within the forest there is some kind of fungal-like disease, although the disease is probably more akin to a curse than a true infectious pathogen. And apparently the zombies where the guard was speaking of would originate from there, being apparently people infected by that kind of fungal like disease. So with the document signed and everything, and finally having received their cure and no longer bothered by the poison, the group decides to, before they venture into the forest, to return to the lake town to first secure some lodgings, and second, maybe to go and look for some gear that could be or would be appropriate to go into the woods. When entering the city, or with the city I would mean the lake town, Arahant is navigating the group through a whole pathway of roads. There was a slight mist. The lake town seems constantly or very frequently bathing into some kind of mist that comes from the lake. But so Arahant is navigating the group and finally stops in front of an iron walled gate that belongs to the wall of a garden, and within there is a mansion. The mansion belongs to that of Duke Ashton.
Ashward.
Ashford, my apologies, Ashford. Okay.
White.
Ash White.
White.
Uh-huh. White as ash. Okay. Of Duke Ashwhite, which is, if I'm not mistaken, the Duke that several sessions ago gave them a task for recovering a group that went negotiating with an ogre, I think.
Yes.
Yes. And from which they, so some of them, I think Arhant for sure, discovered that the Duke is not what he seems to be, being a more demonic being than something else. But what is also a bit unsettling is that the mention of the Duke with the Ironwood Gate is also the mention that Arahant has seen a couple of days ago in his dream, and that was in the night when they when all the party received a stab in the palm of their hand with that poison. And there we left the session. Or should I say I left the session?
Yes. Um,
So Arhant will be visibly shaken.
Also, I
And will
think when you said what's unsettling about the mansion, another unsettling part would probably be that it's, the exact same mansion as in the other city.
yes, indeed.
That's kind of an important detail.
Yes, indeed. Would would the others? I know that in the other city from which they are now fugitives, Arahant was lost in the mist and found that mansion. But did the rest of the party also found that mansion or not?
Like
I'm
in,
not.
did they find it in you mean last session or in his dream?
Well, in the dream,
In the
I
dream he was
suppose.
alone. But last session, the rest of the party, I assumed, followed our hunt.
Well, Arahant will be visibly shaken, and will be saying, the it's the same mansion as in my dream, identical up to every detail. My good friends, I have a bad feeling about this one.
So it's exactly the same as your dream?
Exactly the same.
What happened
And
in your dream exactly?
Hmm?
What happened in your dream exactly?
Well, um, I was in a city. Well, in the city where we last were, or at least I dreamt that we were there. It was foggy, I ran through the streets as if I knew my way in the city, as if I was apparently someone who lived there and who knew the streets and alleyways quite well. And the windings of all the streets ended with an iron rod gate, identical like this one, with a mansion. And afterwards, it became a bit jumbled because I shifted and I was suddenly in another somewhere else, on the ramparts of some kind of castle or building, something like that, with dead people strewn around me, and people were talking to me as if I was a lord or a leader or something like that.
Okay.
So I probably it's a bit foggy, and even the details are those dreams are always taxing on my mind, and even I do not recall them all exactly all the time. But I do think that in this dream I was probably another person, so seeing the scene from the eyes of that person that they called their leader, or at least a warlord or something like that. And they were talking about me. And I think, but I could be mistaken, as I said before, those dreams, I do not recollect them always correctly, they're quite vague. But I do think that they brought a prisoner in front of the person through which I saw my eyes, and that person, that prisoner, was me.
Oh.
And then I heard voices, three voices.
So you're saying there's a chance that someone's trying to put you in prison and some sort of vision might have prevented that for now.
Or maybe that it's that's a vision of something that could happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
That somehow I would be taken prisoner and brought for that person. Those three voices I heard were also, it was weird. It was as if they were disembodied and talking from a, the best thing I could say, from a third view perspective, as if they were watching the entire scene as something that was passing by. And those voices, they spoke about, um, well, the details are muddled. But it was strange. And I have to admit, when we were at the circus, you may be remembering that I asked that I wanted to talk in private with the soothsayer, which was
Yeah.
also a Kuatoa. And
Yeah.
she told me, so I told her, I asked her to read my fortune, and she told me that there were three voices speaking to me. One who would always speak through, and two who would speak with forked tongues. And of
Yeah.
those with forked tongues, only one of them would deliberately trying to deceive us.
Mm.
But I surmised now that I hope, and I do hope so, that the voice that speaks true would be the voice of the great catfish of wisdom, of which I am since quite recently a member of, or became a member of its clergy, and that the forked tongue that speaks lies must be the entity that is imprisoned in the book. But that's mere speculation from my part. I'm not even sure that it's right. But with that, you have the entire story. And now we're here in a lake town, in front of a mansion of the that is the property of the Duke, and that I have also seen in my dreams and in the other city. So it's set unsettling.
Mm. So do you? I don't know if we should go in there. I mean, it would be interesting to find out um what this thing is that might have talked through you. But it seems like a foolish idea to just head on in there.
I concur. I have to admit that I do feel a bit of apprehension for entering that mansion,
You'd say that,
especially the
as you say that
yes.
the mansion's front door opens and a man dressed like a servant steps out towards the gate.
Realized I was muted.
Oh,
But didn't we have? Weren't we supposed to go like into the woods or something for that lady that cured us?
yes, but we went first to the town to go to secure some lodging, and then, if needed, if we need some gear, to buy some gear.
Okay.
Well, like I suppose food rations and things like that. And my apologies. So the gate opens and a servant arrives.
Yeah, a servant steps out walking towards the gate.
Arhant will say, our apologies. We are not loiterers. We will depart henceforth. Sorry for having disturbing
We
you.
weren't
Arhant
expecting.
prepares to go away.
He says, we weren't expecting anyone, but the Duke said he knows you, so
Oh god. Don't know if that's a good idea.
I may as well hear what he wants to say.
The Duke, and are you talking about Duke Ashwhite?
yes, of course I am.
Well, His Grace never told us that we had an appointment here, so I'm
You
a
are
bit in a loss. And we have to go into the woods. Apparently, there is some kind of disease that is plaguing those woods, and well, we want to investigate.
interesting. Then I will have to leave the master disappointed, as he was quite happy to talk to you. But if it can't be changed, it can't be changed. And he turns around.
Gentlemen, I propose that we make haste to go back into town, secure our lodgings, and
I mean, the mansion is kind of still in the town. It's just on the outskirts a little bit.
Totally stay the night at the mansion. What's the worst that could happen?
you want to go in?
He just said he wanted to stay the night there.
I said it's a possibility.
To stay in the mansion. In the mansion.
We're already like workers for the Duke. Like we have a positive standing relatively.
Clark, what is your thoughts on that?
I mean, he said that you had some kind of appointment with him. It would be interesting to see how that goes. But
He
I don't think
specifically
we'll-
said he wasn't expecting you, but he knows you, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see what that's all about. I mean, you don't recall him, do you?
Yes, indeed. I do not recall that we were invited, and it happens to be so because he was not. The servant said it himself. He was not expecting us, but the fact that the Duke looked forward to talk to us, although we didn't have an appointment. Does
It seems a bit sketchy.
yes.
I mean, he's not done anything negative to us yet that I can think of.
And Arhant is lowering his voice a bit. I do not know, but if you have noticed, the Duke is a demon.
The Duke is a what?
The Duke is a demon.
True.
He takes the book. He's the one who flayed the person to which the flesh that binds this book belongs, and probably imprisoned his consciousness into it. And I think that being was also devilish, demon-like. I mean,
Who cares what
That's
demons
the reason
do
why I
amongst
want to
themselves?
destroy that book, or at least let it be captive and imprisoned on that monkey island.
That makes the situation a bit harder. I forgot about that.
I don't know, DM, if it was apparently for all of us.
I
It was
think you
the devil.
told them. I think you told them that the book called the Duke a devil and
Yes.
gave you, and you had the vision of, yeah,
Good. It's the vision from the given by the book. Of,
yeah, of
okay,
of the Duke playing a person, and I think at some other point you had a different vision showing the other person to also be a demon.
It's a mess. I'm a mess. Why? Well, why am I the plaything? Why am I the plaything of demons and devils and no, even a god? Although the deity may have had his hand since my birth, because I have those prophetic visions since being a little boy. So maybe I was predestined to become a priest. We don't know. But about demons, no. But I leave it to you. I'm but one voice. I leave it to you. You can always call back the servant and apologize and say that we have changed our minds and that we would be honored to enjoy the hospitality of his grace. But I leave it up to you.
I'm gonna have to ask Mel because I'm not sure.
Just want to know, yes or no.
And as I said,
I
like,
think we should go. I think
he's
we
not
should
done
go.
anything wrong by us, and it seems better to not gain his ire by being rude in some fashion.
Okay, so then we're in the agreement that we will enjoy his hospitality.
At least talk to the man.
At the very least, yes. Okay. The servant, is he gone already?
Yeah, he's already inside the mansion, but the gate, it actually has the like
open?
middle, how's it called? Like the basically the thing holding the posts, the metal posts together, is shaped like basically a giant centipede, and meeting in the middle of the gate, they're toxicognaths, which is how their venom injecting things are called. I just love dropping that fact randomly. Are holding a door knocker basically in the shape of a horned devil with like a ring through its nose.
Well, Arhat will use the door knocker and knock on the door.
Yes, and before you even start to think to wonder why on an outside gate there's a door knocker,
Yes.
you hear with every time you actually hit the gate, a bell sound go off inside from the mansion. And the servant steps back out. So, did the gentleman change their mind?
Yes. We would, in hindsight, we would enjoy the hospitality of his grace.
Yes, then you are welcome to. And he opens the gate to lead you in. And as you step through the main door, you see the Duke. though he is at least 3 feet or 3 foot taller than when you last saw him. So he's about almost 3 meters tall. And instead of his usual, is it a cowl? Was that the word I used? I don't know, but instead of the thing he usually wears upon his head, he has nothing, showing that the crown that he seemed to be wearing before is indeed just 5 horns. And he greets, and yeah, he says, welcome, gentlemen. I think we can drop the pretenses by now.
So if I'm understanding what you say correctly, he's showing himself in his
Yes, he's about
true form.
He's about 3 meters tall with 5 horns growing from his head. Yes.
Nice.
And thus he looks devilish or demonic in appearance. But does he still uses his appearance of a dark
His
elf?
face is still more or less the same. His teeth might have grown a little bit more predator-like, let's say. So, what brings you here? Or do I even need to ask? I think we all know what brought you here, right? Our aunt?
It depends. Have you? Apparently, your servant does not know about a fungal disease in the woods.
There is a fungal disease in the woods, yes. The seed of death, as some people like to call it.
Well, we were about to investigate that.
Ah. And then you got lost in the city and you just ended up here.
Getting lost. We just wanted to secure some lodging, and then before preparing for our journey into the woods.
Yes,
And then, yes, indeed, our tracks led us to the gate of your mansion, Your Grace.
Yes, then you may come in. And I mean, you are technically already through the doorway, I guess, but you may follow me. And there are 2 things that you notice immediately. First of all, the servants that are sweeping the halls and such are bearded devils. Though, instead of with the glaives they are usually depicted with, most of them carry brooms and the like around, making for an interesting picture. And the other thing is that the whole mansion is very hot, like probably about 35-40 degrees Celsius, maybe even more hot. I will have to apologize. Those damn imps don't know, couldn't tell a sprocket from a rocket, and have broken the heating. And apparently no one knows how to fix it.
By the way, for the American, our American viewers, it would be around 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes.
That is hot.
Yes.
Well, when seeing those devils with a broom, Arhand will whisper to Claude and Mel. Also, I've also had a vision of a demon or devil-like being with a broom in his hand. I know it makes sense. Somehow.
Mel scratched his head. So,
And
why
the
are you
next-
having all of these visions of demons and devils?
I think you should stop.
Did you
with
have a
all
rough
the-
spit as a kid?
I don't know. They just come. I have no control over it. I'm
That's what she said.
much a slave to them. So sometimes they come when I am asleep. Sometimes they come to me when I'm awake, and it's not that I will them to manifest them. They just manifest, and there's nothing I can do to it. So it started in the beginning. It started as I come from a rural settlement, mostly farmers and the likes. In the beginning, it was, for example, the vision of a burning barn, or a plentiful harvest, or some bad weather or a storm that was coming that would have ruined the harvest. And because I could warn them in advance, we could save our crops and things like that. It's only recently that the visions turn to be more exotic.
All right. So if it's just a recent thing, what do you think changed?
No idea. That's why I studied.
Are you
magic.
still whispering those things while basically standing in the doorway?
Fair, fair.
Well, no, we're following the Duke inside the mansion.
Yeah.
I suppose a small distance, and while walking through, while keeping an eye on him and following him, he is whispering those things. You can whisper and walk at the same time. So
Yes,
It's a
and
skill some people have.
he leads you basically straight through the mansion, underneath the stairs that would lead up to his room and where you were before, but instead straight down into a banquet hall where there has been food already prepared on the table for all of you.
wait, you talking about the study, the same study where back then, that was with Mel and Finranor.
Yes.
It was in a different city.
Like I said, it's the exact same mansion from the outside.
Yeah.
And from the inside as well.
Ah! We screwed. We screwed.
Oh, yeah, good old demi-planes and the like, you know?
Mm. Arahant is just as I'm doing now, putting his hand on his chest and gently trying not to make it obvious, but gently keeping his hands on the holy symbol of the great catfish of wisdom that is always tucked underneath his robes, as a kind of hoping that somehow it will give him protection or so.
Yes,
Or mere comfort.
and as you sit down at the bank, at the table, I'm assuming that's what you all do.
Yes.
Right, it would
Yeah.
be rude otherwise.
Yes, he also sits down and
He's still a duke.
says,
Oh.
so,
He says,
I
all your
assume you
sons
have
of prophet.
I assume you have many questions about everything here.
You mean about the lake itself, Your Grace, or town, or your mansion, or
Yeah, I was talking more about the mansion, but I can also answer some questions about the lake.
Well, for starters, why are you so hospitable for one of your condition? If you don't mind my asking.
You make it sound like being a devil is being disabled.
No, but the myths and such that follow such ilk aren't typically of the positive nature.
That is very true indeed. Oh, I clicked the wrong. Oh, okay. Nothing. Uh, Definitely just didn't randomly switch scenes. Anyway, I. So, that is quite the cliche, isn't it? I will assure you that as long as you have something to offer, you would be welcomed very warmly in the Tyrant City.
I mean, a bit
That
more
sounds
warmly
good.
than we really desire at the moment. Like,
Yeah, and as you say that, bead of sweat drips off your forehead into probably onto the pheasant that is currently being served.
you've done no ill by us, and we've had good work by you, so I don't have any qualms with you for the time being.
Though I have not been at said city for a long time.
Like motioning to Arhant, I'm sure he has many questions, given he's the most bedeviled of us. Other than yours truly.
He grins a little bit at that.
devil? I'm not a devil. I'm a human. Or am I?
You are in one of my mansions.
Bedeviled's like you're being tormented, harassed, or having continual little troubles. It's kind of a play on words for both sides.
So
So you have. Well, it would make sense that a duke, which is still a high rank of nobility, would have several mentions, but all the same.
no, you are
Or
just in the same one
or
as
you must
before.
thank the architect.
You are in the same mansion as before. You wouldn't want to go into the others.
So, do you occupy the same spaces, or do you move your mansion around?
Oh my
How
god,
does-
he's a quantum devil.
How does that exactly work?
It just has a lot of entrances at different places, and
When in doubt. Oh, good.
and which mansion you end up in is mostly up to me.
When in doubt, magic being a crazy mistress once again.
Yeah. And you by now the heat in the mansion is very uncomfortable, and as the Duke notices, he asked, "You don't by any chance know where to get someone who can fix such a thing?"
I mean,
Well, what's your heating situation based off of? Do you have like a machine for that, or what do you
Ye-
use?
Yes, it's an old machine.
if it's of mundane means, I can take a look at it. But as soon as we get into magic mumbo jumbo, I'm out of my element.
It's mostly mundane.
And if show the way, I can take a look at it.
And he actually motions for one of the bearded devils to show you the way into the cellar. In which
Arhand will, before before Mel leaves, or is standing up and preparing to follow one of the servants. Arhand is placing his hand on the arm of Mel and say, have the utmost confidence in your abilities, and I will cast guidance on him. So you have a D4 for the next ability check you make.
yes,
Of course, I've only put decades into my craft.
Now you can see how much he trusts you.
it,
that Arham doesn't know that.
in the cellar, there is it's basically it's a small-ish room with mass of turning cogs and just tubes all over the room, connected to a massive oven that basically occupies one of the room's walls. Or goes into the wall. Yeah. And you notice immediately that some of those cogs don't seem to be stuck or just moving more erratically than they should.
Okay. I want to try to look to see what the cause of that is. Seems to be the source of it.
And then you can give me a Tinker's Tools check with intelligence.
Duke.
Wait, your intelligence isn't terrible, right? No, okay.
It's all right. Okay, not with that, but
I mean, you can add a d4, but
I will. But it's a 6. So many cogs.
yes, you know what? Because you are actually using a tool proficiency and not just perception, I will just let you have the advantage.
Nice.
And
Am I rolling again, or am I just taking that?
roll again.
Famous last words.
Yes. You immediately see ba- the epicenter of the problem, and which is like in one corner of the room, basically. And to kind of get to it, you would need to remove multiple cogs and nuts and bolts and all of that from the whole construction, which takes you about an hour before you before you come upon one specific cog that that seems to be the one that just seems to be more loosely lying in there than actually being attached to anything, currently blocking off all the others. And as you pick it up, it doesn't seem like the same material as the others as well. It's of at the first glance green, but as you touch it, changing color.
Do I recognize the material?
No, it seems to constantly change color. That's
No.
not.
Okay. I'm looking it over, setting it to the side while I put everything back together.
Yes, and you know what? Give me another Tinker's check to put it all back together correctly.
Do so with advantage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you managed to put them all into place and even notice some bolts that weren't quite tight enough before. So the machine should run even better than before it broke.
Wiping probably several beads of sweat off my brow at this point.
Yes. And
Bring this.
you immediately notice the air cooling.
Little grin for a good day's work or a good bit of work, and then I'll take the weird cog with me and head back to the Duke.
Yeah. And the last thing you notice is that some of the tubes leading out right now are not actually hot to the touch, as you would expect. They're actually very cold, seeming to rather quickly reduce the temperature to a manageable one. Yes, and you make it back up to the others who have now been talking for more than an hour, so the people
don't
currently
you
sitting with the Duke can ask a few more questions before Mel is back.
Yeah, cozy up to the Duke. Exactly what our hunt wanted.
You are muted right now, Lodwick.
Well, Arahant is not sure what to ask, so someone is hoping that maybe Clark would chime in or something like that. It's clear that if Clark is watching Arahant, it's clear that Arhant is not at ease. Let's put it that way.
I'm gonna say, so, if you were to judge yourself on a psychopath scale, where would you be from 1 to 10?
Facepalm from Arhant.
You realize he still is a duke, right?
Yes, I... What am I even supposed to answer to that?
I mean, that depends on your honest answer, right? I mean, if you see yourself as being like a nice guy and like pretty cool when it comes to certain things, then I wouldn't put you on a high psychopath level. But like, if you're one of those devils that's like, oh yeah, you know what? Actually, I think we might just kill them.
A pity that Arhant does not have this spell prepared, enlarge and reduce, because he would make himself very small.
No, you just make Clarth's mouth really small, so like it becomes like higher and higher pitched. So it's indistinguishable and unintelligible.
Arhant would make himself physically smaller because figuratively he is growing smaller and smaller.
I gotcha.
In that case, I'm gonna if he doesn't know how to answer it,
He
I
knows
do
that-
have a...
He gives an answer.
Oh.
Why would you ask that question of a former duke of the Tyrant City?
It's
Do
the
you know-
Tyrant City sounds like a high rating. Dukes also tend to have a high rating, but you seem quite chilled right now, so maybe there's like a bit of a difference?
Let me tell you, if I wanted to kill you right now, I could.
But could you get Dio?
And as he says that, you notice what looks like a giant centipede slithering from a slit in his cloak, or not slithering, actually just coming out, going across the whole banquet table, and grabbing a branch of grapes on the other side before quickly snapping back and him grabbing it out of the creature's mouth. The creature remaining basically attached to his rope the whole time.
That's a nifty buck you got there.
You're
Is it
great.
nice?
Did you ask if it's alive?
Is it nice?
It's part of my body.
Can I pet it? Would that be petting you? Would you be into that?
No, you can't.
My apologies, Your Grace. I beg you to forgive the peculiarness of my companion Clark here. He can be overly excited on things that are a bit out of the common. But I witnessed when you were talking that you spoke that you were a former Duke of the Tyrant City.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Meaning you are no longer in power, or you no longer are in a position of power within said city.
That is true. I have been exiled. or
Wow, nice
I have
dialogue,
exiled
you
myself. It's-
You went into voluntary exile?
Um, you could, yes, you could call it that. One could also say I was fleeing out of the city and escaped with my life.
Pardon pardon me and my bluntness if I ask this of you, Your Grace, but when you were fleeing and barely escaping with your life, were you on top of a castle wall with bodies strewn around you, as if in
He
front of a big battle?
he finds that amusing. No. Interesting connection you made there. But no.
I have an active imagination, Your Grace.
I am quite familiar with it.
What do you mean with that, Your Grace?
Now he sounds racist.
What? Isn't it? I thought you would have figured it out by now. You know, those visions you have?
Yes. But I have had them since being a boy.
Yes. And that vision you had that led you to this very mansion? Who do you think gave you that vision?
Oh no, I'm your daddy now.
Are you coming back into the room with that sentence?
No. That was just
Okay.
me being a smartass. Me, the player, Justin, being a smartass.
In that case, I want to make that comment.
You can have the rights. It's okay.
Arahant is totally not at ease right now. Well, Arahant will say, to be honest, I never, yes, I did ponder from where I gained all those visions, but I always thought that at least the visions I had in my youth were tied to the emergence of my arcane potential, which led me to become to study the art of divination as a wizard, first at college and then
He will
with
just
a
cut you off. Yes, you. Those were your own. I talked about just a few very particular ones, like 3 or 4.
So the dream I had about running into the mist right up and right up on in front of the gate of your mansion was your doing, Your Grace.
Yes. right up until our dear friend took over. You should be quite familiar with him by now, seeing as you're carrying him around.
You mean Dio?
He just gives you a death glare.
And then Arhant is face palming again. No,
We are
Clark.
carrying him around.
No, Clark. He's talking about that, and Arhant is getting the flesh-bound spellbook out of his backpack. He's talking about that book, but that spellbook that steals my spells,
Yes.
over which I have
Ah,
thrown
that
some
makes
holy
sense.
water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you decided to take that spellbook that I wanted to give to that ogre, and first of all, you decided to just take it with you. Second of all, for some reason, that ogre didn't call you out on it. Third of all, you saw the book wrapped in the book with the demonic face on it, talking to you, full of necromancy spells, talking to you, and decided to keep it and not ask any questions of the book that was obviously mine to me.
Oh, now that I think about it, Arahant, you're pretty
to,
stupid.
to be honest, Your Grace, I'm as a player, I'm checking my notes right now to see. Upon giving his reward, the ogre releases the three people and gives us the information that we paid for. The elevator.
By now, Mel is on his way up, and while walking through the floor, notices that on it's not as much that he notices, it's more that he is basically being not halted, but from upstairs in like the upper floors, you notice the Duke's daughter coming down and looking at you, then looking around at the servants and saying, "Oh, great. So, Father let another group of people in on the secret, did he?"
It's a pretty meaty secret it is, but he has.
I always told him that if he wants to disguise himself as whatever, he should probably take another noble title other than Duke. Kinda obvious, isn't it?
A bit after a time, yes.
By the way, the daughter is still very much a young human woman.
No, okay, so she's not, at least not appearing to change forms.
Yet.
And then she
Yeah.
just comes into the banquet hall with you, where our hunt may now respond to the Duke.
Well, before I do that, or before Arahant does that, me, Lodewijk, want to ask to you, DM, because I couldn't find it in my notes. The book was part of a prize
The book was
given to the ogre by the 3 people that we rescued,
Yes, basically.
or that we were sent to rescue because they failed to come back. And we were given 3 other objects also to give to the ogre as payment.
You
But
were given one object. Basically, the previous group was given 3 objects. And
okay.
when the ogre let them go, he just didn't ask for those.
He didn't ask for those, so the
Yes.
the other group just had them, and then it's and once we were outside of the cave of the ogre, then they say, oh well, we have those former
Yes.
gifts, and yeah, okay. Thank you for clarifying that point. Well, Arahant will say, Your Grace, we um, how would I put it? It seemed that the ogre that had captured the the other 3 that you sent before us never claimed or wanted to claim those gifts. So we assumed that us being given as a payment to the ogre and the ogre didn't want it, that maybe any right to ownership was forfeit because of that act.
That's
But
not.
if it's not the case and you want and this book does belongs to you and is indeed your property, then by all means I will return it to you, of course. It was never my intention. Be assured of that. At least, and that I want to be honest. It was never my intention to steal from you. If I did
That's.
so, it was by omission, for which I deeply, deeply apologize, Your Grace.
It's not really the issue. I. The book might be yours. I don't care much about using it, but you must have noticed that it is dangerous or evil or conscious, right?
All 3 of them, Your Grace. All 3 of them.
And you
He
have.
has been helpful on occasion
Mm-hmm.
with some of the spells I acquired, although
What
forcibly.
spells? He immediately, with a slight panic, asks.
Um,
Verminbane, for example.
yes.
Uh,
Well, there was one spell with which we were assailed by an entire army of roaches, and he gave me the knowledge of a spell that uh, eliminated them with a simple gesture of my hand.
mhm. Okay. Not that dangerous. Anything else?
Didn't he knock me out at one point?
I
Oh
don't.
no, you stopped him before he did. Never mind. You stopped him before he could cast sleep.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he had cast sleep.
So.
Never mind.
Well, I did gain some spells that Although
Basic,
not...
basically, what I'm going to tell you is, every spell that you let him cast for you, he will also be able to cast on it on his own. Uh, at, at least it wasn't dominate person.
There was no dominant person there, right?
There, there wasn't.
For now.
So,
Sound
our hand
unsure.
might have now figured out why that book really wanted you to cast teleportation spells.
What?
So our hand might by now have figured out why that book really wanted you to cast teleportation spells.
Your boy wants to make a jailbreak.
Hmm.
Yes,
Indeed.
and I'm assuming it has caused you much other troubles, didn't it?
Well, it caused me some distress. Yes, the knowledge that he wanted to partake with me were all in the realms of necromancy, like summoning the undead, or animating the dead, lighting people, and things like that. So all spells that are not very well, let's say I'm not very comfortable with them. I do
The-
know of their implication because I am a trained and studied and wizard, but it's not the focus of my interest in the arcane.
So, do you know who is bound to that book?
Who else?
Like, or who that book is bound in, I guess, would be the more appropriate question.
No, I do not recall that he ever gave his identity. The only thing he said that either he said it or it was a vision that I received of him being punished by you, my grace, and then turned into that book.
Yes.
But it could also be a deception from his part in trying to curse some favor or
That
affection
is
towards me.
that is mostly true, I'd say.
Now Arahant is becoming pale.
That
Very pale.
that demon bound in that book was called Malvanos at earlier points. He also some
Malvanos?
text Malvanos, yes. Also some texts call him the one who laid poison upon the strands of magic.
That's a long ass name.
Yes, yes. Long time ago, he had quite the clever scheme figured out, manipulating the strands of magic in a way that when mages would cast spells, they would inadvertently open the gateway for his servants to leap into this plane. Quite a tricky adversary he was. Luckily, I managed to banish him into this book, and as long as you know his true name, he can't really stage an escape out of it, but without that, it's quite the dangerous artifact indeed.
And you wouldn't happen to know his true name, do you?
Yes, I do.
And now comes the part where you ask something of us in exchange for that name.
I could, yes.
But you could also prove to me that on a psychopath scale you're lower and just give us the name. I love how Lucy is literally face palming.
Have I rejoined them at this point?
Yes, by this point you are coming through the door together with his daughter.
Okay.
And
Pay no mind to the boy. He talks to rocks.
Hey, he was a valuable member of our party.
And he says, did you manage to fix the heating? I mean, I can already feel it.
There's the only strangest was this little doohickey, and head towards his way to at least put it on the table so you can see it. Unless he wants me to directly hand it to him.
As you show it to him, you can all give me an insight check.
Oh,
Inside. Where is my insight?
1 sec, my Roll20 crashed when I went on my character sheet. Let me open it back up again.
I mean, honestly, that's we at least have one that is more than successful enough. Just for a moment, looking at it, he seems quite surprised, but there's also a definite look of sadness as well as a look of relief upon his face. Like it conjured up some memory. So that was in the machine, was it?
It was. It seemed to be the cause of the problem. It was in there, loosely fit and just taking up space.
I really wondered where I misplaced it. I was looking for it for a while now. It's actually a memento of a dear friend.
Okay, you can have it back. Just curious why it was in the machine to begin with. If it was something so precious to you.
I have no idea. But you know, you kind of remind me of him in a way. He also was very good with machines. If I take it back, it will just catch dust again. You might have it.
Could you describe what it is to me so I know what I'm keeping?
Oh, it's
What the fuck?
why did that
Sorry,
happen?
I just accidentally clicked the link. Sorry.
Okay. So it doesn't do anything specific on its own, really. It's more of a component than its own magic item.
And it's trying to figure out what it is, like what material it is, what is it? Like Mel likes to know things, and he prides himself as a craftsman, and not knowing a substance
It is
bugs him.
actually one of the parts of an artificial heart that he made for himself.
An artificial heart.
Yes,
Heart.
I don't. He never taught me what exactly that is made of, though it is of the same, or it looks to be the same material as the great. How would you call it? The great soul engine in the Tyrant City is made of.
Why would
Strange
you just
material.
have that lying around?
It was a keepsake, but as it often happens with things that you don't use a lot, they just get misplaced.
Well, I thank you for your gift, and I'll look more into it, because as an inventor, it raises some curiosity in me.
Yes. By now, people might also make a history check. Probably with a DC of about 20.
Oh, geez.
I guess with multiple DCs, but
So close.
What was the check history?
yeah.
Darn, I was one off.
6.
I have expertise in it, so let's hope.
Okay. So, you both, Auerhand and Mel, vaguely remember an old book actually talking about two of the Tyrant City's dukes. So basically, two archdevils who decided to defy their great master, and one of them apparently vanished. The other one was taken prisoner in the Tyrant City.
DM Senpai?
Yes.
Real quick thing, there's a scammer in your Twitch chat. You should kick him. Or ban
Oh
him.
wait. Yes. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Best followers, primes, and viewers on Mistream.
Okay.
Stir.
I don't really want to read that. Where is the stupid ban button there?
I love when they can't even get the spelling right.
No, they got it wrong, so it goes through my filters.
Oh. I just thought they were stupid.
No.
Could be both.
Where do you see that? Because
No, it's deleted
Oh,
now. Don't
he
worry
got
about it.
banned. He's banned.
It was in the Twitch chat anyway.
I don't have Twitch open, so
Yeah. Then you also wouldn't really notice. But yeah. No more details below 20 to that story.
Oh well. There's something to look into knowledgeable individuals later. If we're so inclined.
So what else were you interested in? The lake.
Yes, well, we were told, at least made to believe that, to be honest, I want to get rid of that book and of its corrupting influence.
Then you may just hand it back to me. It's not like it really has any power over me.
But will it still have any power over myself?
You just need to unattune yourself from it. It's not really permanently bound to you or anything. It's not cursed. You
That's
could
a
have just
relief.
laid it down at any point.
Yes,
And
that's
then you doom some other poor sod.
well. I was thinking. We heard that the Monkey Lake, or at least the island on the lake, could be imprison a demonic presence for an extended period of time, if not forever. So my idea was to put the book there and be rid of its of and the book and its influence on me. But if
So
keeping it yourself will do the same, once again, as I said, I didn't know that it was your property per se, and it was never my intention to steal it from you or appropriate it. If I have it, if I did, it was by omission only. So I will gladly give your property back.
I think those warlocks of the Betu would appreciate it a lot if you just handed them the book in such a way.
Warlocks of?
The warlocks of the Betu. Betu being their race, not the being they serve. The monkey people. But
They would
yes,
be happy with it. To use for their own purposes or to
yes.
keep it in presence.
To use for their own purposes, of course.
And in that case, Arahant takes the book and places it on the table and pushes it gently and gingerly towards the Duke. Well, I thank you, Your Grace. And
yes.
once again, it was, as I said before, it was not my intention to appropriate your property without.
Yes. Understand. So, but yes, it is true. The island is able to imprison demonic entities, and it holds at least one demon lord on it. Not at least, exactly one. I would know if there was a second demon lord on that island. But I actually was there the last time it tried to escape. Quite an interesting affair. But yes, there is a heavy demonic presence on that island, and that is also why one of the entrances to my mansion is here.
Keep watch over it.
Yes, exactly. So, but there hasn't been much activity from the lake recently.
And that could have changed if we actually did brought the book there.
Yeah, that would be likely. They might even be they could have even been able to figure out how to again put create that curse upon the winds of upon the strands of magic. Would have been quite unpleasant. So, why did you go this far away from Berg? Is there anything else you want here?
Well, let's be entirely honest. The reason why we went from Berg to here was in the first place to get rid of this book and put it on the island, thinking that it would help bind whatever is inside it forever to that island and get rid of it. The second part that we came to here was because we have been poisoned when staying in. Was it in Berg that we were staying with the circus or not?
Yes, Rottenberg.
When we were staying in Berg, we also got poisoned. We suppose by an assassin or something like that, and the cure for that poison was also to be found here. So, because we had the same destination for two elements, that's the reason why we went here. Fortunately, we acquired the cure, and as far as we know, we are free from the poison. And the only thing that was left was to place that book on the island, and in the hopes of keeping it locked and or safely locked away. But if you are willing to keep watch over it and having it the same purpose, well, I do thank you for that. But we still have to go into the woods. It was an agreement that we made with the person who healed us and cured us from the poison, that we would go on a gathering mission for gathering some medicinal and herbal supplies in exchange for the cure.
Yes. So, and I'm assuming, as you said, you were headed out for the forest, that those herbs you would need to gather from here. Otherwise, I would be quite happy to just let you out of my manor in Grundingen.
Yes, those herbs are indeed here and only to be found here.
Yes.
It would be ash leaf.
So, you also briefly mentioned the plague that is spreading, or the plague in the forest.
Yes, indeed, a kind of a fungal-like plague, as if people are infected by some kind of how do you say it in English? In Dutch, we say a schemmel. Wait a minute.
You don't just mean spores, right?
have no idea
Mold.
what we're talking about.
Oh,
That's-
mold.
Yeah.
Mold is the
Mold.
word you use. Ah, yeah, Schimmel, yeah, makes sense.
So I was very confused. I was like, what?
I suppose my German is quite is quite rusty because I only was taught it during high school.
Oh, you were actually attempting to. You actually wanted to say it in German?
Well, yes.
Because you said you were saying it in Dutch.
Yes, I am saying it in Dutch, but
Okay.
hoping that it would
Ah,
the same word or
makes sense. Makes
approximately the
sense.
same word in Dutch as in because Dutch and German have are part of the same are both Germanic languages.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of words that have
Yes,
the
I
same
know.
meaning and that are the same.
So that plague has quite an interesting origin, but I think what you need to know is that once you come upon a clearing, a large clearing, filled with old dead thorns that look like they once might have made up a maze or something like that, you really shouldn't step further. That's where the epicenter of that plague is. Except, of course, if you would want to reclaim that old crown that was lost there.
Old crown.
I was under the impression that we only had to be aware of, or not aware, to be cautious about the plague, or it's more like a curse. But the crown and the plague itself, or the origin of the plague, was not the terms I agreed upon with the healer.
Then
We only went or we were planning to go into the forest just to gather some herbs, and be made aware. Watch out for that plague because it can be quite.
then just stay clear of that clearing.
What's the story of the crown? What's its significance?
It was part of a magical artifact at some point. Actually belonged to the group that thwarted the last attempt of the Demon of the Lake to break free. It from the more powerful parts, the stones, have long since been brought away to different places. Though maybe one of them could also have been brought back to the to that clearing. actually, it might be quite likely. Though, there also still is a lot of residual magic in that broken crown. Okay, what the...
Got a new bot.
I know! What is going on here?
Hey, think of it the positive way. At least your channel seems to be big enough for people to bot advertise there.
Wow. Okay, I need to take that. I should have actually looked at that message so I can put the misspelling into the filter as well. Anyway. So where was I? Yes, there also is some residual magic in that crown. The one who originally wore it of those party members was kidnapped and killed by quite the evil entity housing in the middle of the forest. And their druid might have used some very dangerous magic in defeating that evil. An old mushroom. She got her powers from an old mushroom-like, not mushroom-like being, an old ancient mushroom in the middle of that clearing. And she is the one who inadvertently spread that plague.
Well, then, if we find the root of it, could be possibility of clearing up the plague all in itself.
Yes, that might be quite possible, though it would also be very dangerous.
Now, something to consider once we're on the other side. I can get a better look at things.
Yes. Any other questions?
None that come to mind for myself.
So I have a question about this mention actually. So we can end if we entered any of the points that it's there, you can enter it. Can you exit it at any point where it's built as well, like a teleportation system?
Yes. Yes, you can.
All right.
Yeah. It is quite handy.
Seems that way.
So, if you don't have any further questions, I will have my daughter lead you to the guest rooms. But why would I let my daughter do that? I will have a servant lead you to the guest rooms.
Oh, I wouldn't mind spending more time with your daughter.
Everyone just glares at Clark.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I seem to notice she didn't. I saw her in passing on my way back here.
She actually came with you into the
Oh,
hall.
okay. Okay. I thought she kind of like led me and then went off.
No,
She
no.
doesn't seem to.
She's sitting here.
Yeah, I got you. Like, if it isn't intrusive in any way, but she doesn't bear the same look as you.
Yes, she's
If you
human.
catch my drift.
Yes, she isn't really my daughter.
Okay.
She's merely adopted.
I got you.
So, lead the gentlemen to their rooms, and keep an eye on that dwarf.
I would definitely do that.
Maybe he has been talking to a servant, but yeah, and he motions for you to get up.
Do so.
Yes, and you are led upstairs. This time actually 2 floors up, and then down a hallway into, depending on what you want, either separate rooms or you can also share a room if you want.
I definitely want my own room.
Do we share beds?
No.
Separate rooms.
You don't share
I have my own.
beds. Okay. If any of you...
Separate rooms, most definitely.
Yes, they are quite well furnished, those rooms, and like they have a desk with a fairly decent amount of inks. They have and like all the other writing, everything you need for writing, basically. They have a pretty large bookshelf. They have beds and also another table where there have been fruits and cheeses and a few bottles of different beverages prepared on it.
What sort of beverages?
There, so there is obviously there's water. There's different sorts of wines. There, so there is like a red wine, a white wine. There's champagne actually.
Mel definitely gets a good swig of water after
There are
being in the heat as well as
yeah.
working on.
There are
Yeah.
also some exotic juices of like some of fruits that you may have heard of at some point from maybe some seller from far shores selling them, like pineapple or mango or whatever, but also some of fruits that are completely unknown to you.
Rumored banana.
There's no banana juice because banana juice is weird.
It's kind of funny how that's like the one like fruit like you just don't make juice out of.
Banana?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly
I
because
wanted to have a kiba.
yeah, but
Like when you think of juices, no one's first thought is like banana juice.
Oh,
That's
fuck yeah.
I
It's
don't.
fine.
Is there even pure banana juice? It's that a thing?
I can't think of any like it's been mixed in things, but I can
I know
never think
that
of like
cherry and
pure
banana is
juice.
like, yeah, cherry banana juice is called Kiba in German, and it's a thing that is relatively common. Like you can get it in most restaurants, but I don't think I've ever had pure banana juice anywhere.
Like at best, I could think like maybe like a smoothie or something, or like
Yeah, probably
mixed in
because
ice cream.
it's quite thick. I'm assuming. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, and also some fruits that you don't even know the name of. Huh? And with that, you may retreat for the evening. And I think we will do a break right now because we have been going for almost 2 hours. So I will unmute myself first and foremost, also on stream. So before we continue with the session, there has been a chili eating requested. No, that definitely is not the correct scene. Can I have the scene with less memes? And no, that scene that just popped up didn't break TOS. But where I don't have a screen with my face in full screen that doesn't have weird memes going around. Okay. I guess I will have to turn all of those off for now. I guess I can keep this on. Boom. So, anyway. Maurice, you're here, right? Right? Did you just say something, Maurice? Okay. Then I guess I'll have to wait for him because he will be the one to decide which of these two. Maybe I can actually adjust my chat filters in the meantime.
His mic is coming up green. It's not hearing anything.
Yeah, I think we're only really hearing our echo.
Ah, true.
Is it community? No. What is it? Definitely not content. Is it? Oh God, what was it? Is it just setting moderation? Yeah, it's probably moderation. Ah, block terms and phrases. Now I just need to find the message.
I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, where can I actually look at someone's message history on Twitch? Do I actually
It should
just...
pop up in the bottom.
The thing is, I don't really have anything to click once I've banned someone, do I? Anyway, doesn't really
Mistakes were
matter.
made.
But, Maurice, I have two
Yeah.
chilies with me.
Oh.
Wait, let me magically illusion that. Yeah, which of these two should I eat?
Are they different types or is it the same type?
No, they are different types.
Okay, what is what type and what
I would have to go back to the kitchen to eat. I know that this is just the Spanish pepper. I forgot how these are called. I will go back to the kitchen to just read, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's pulling out two of them. One is smaller, and he wants me to pick the bigger one because I think it's harder, but I think the other one's worse on him. Or he might be trolling me, and it's the other way around. I'm playing a game that I can.
So apparently it's called Ravit. Or Rabbit, or Rabbit, or whatever.
Hmm. I'm actually gonna Google this.
Are you actually? Okay.
Oh, what that scale's called.
The Scoville
one-
scale.
So this one is the chili bird eyes. It's called in English.
Ah.
There we go. Let me see here. Let me check Wikipedia. Yeah. Yeah, they're small.
They are small, yes.
I don't care about them ornaments. Oh, okay,
Oh.
okay. It measures around 50,000 to 100,000 Scoville units, which is at the lower half range for the hotter habaneros.
Wait, when you say ornamental purposes, is that actually that Samoan like warrior decoration thing?
The more decorative but slightly less pungent chili known as the Thai ornamental has peppers that point upward on the plant and reach from green to yellow,
okay.
orange,
No,
and red.
I...
One sec. I'm getting cold. I'll be right back.
As you're kept in suspense at which pepper. Yeah, this one. I'm just gonna eat them both. Like, whatever happens, happens.
It's
I
all quite
mean,
funny.
only for another 5,000 points would I eat them both. Why did I say that? I'm pretty sure Patrick has those points.
What's the other one called?
It's a Spanish pepper. I'm pretty sure that's literally its name.
Spanish pepper. Oh wow, just 500 to 2,500 Scoville. Yeah, eat the small one, you bitch.
It's a normal pepper.
Why is your camera off?
My camera is off on Discord, so I can have the big camera on stream.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Patrick, you could also just give me money. That would also work. Oh fuck.
How much for you to eat the other pepper as well?
5.
$5?
Yeah.
I'm now seeing you eat it on stream. Already gaining points again. I'm excited for the other one. Is that okay?
The suspense.
I
What a
don't think
great
the other
Dungeons
one
and Dragons stream.
here's a really funny story about peppers. My grandpa used to have peppers in his garden.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he
we have
planted
too.
them.
A lot.
And I'll bring it tomorrow. Okay.
Wow. So I'll eat it now at the promise that you'll bring $5 over tomorrow if you owe me like $200 anyway. It's not really how we're going to do that.
It's like what is that guy? I'll gladly pay for you the hamburger today, Tuesday, or whatever the heck. Can't think how that line goes.
Are you really trying to make that offer?
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe you also owe me 60. That could also be. I don't think either of us have kept track of it. But let's say it's growing quicker than it's actually shrinking. Honestly, fuck it, I'll eat the other one too. You bring those $5 over tomorrow. This is a mistake. Yeah, I know. It just adds up.
And no,
By the
We
way,
will
the
have to
stream
stop
isn't
the
sponsored
game
by
because
Jeva.
we will have to stop the game because our DM will be having a nasty stomach burn.
No. I only had that twice. It only lasted for a few months. It wasn't of chilies, though. Okay, I will now switch back to the main interface and turn my Discord video back on, and it all worked flawlessly.
I'm actually playing a game in the background that I can't talk about on stream, which is sad.
Interesting. Anyway,
I could talk about it on
I
stream.
think we're
but-
now officially back from the break.
Oh, we're officially back from break. Nah, never mind then.
Completely unrelated from the recent events. Damn, I love milk. Wait, will this get worse if I drink hot tea? Is that going to make it
shouldn't.
worse?
It shouldn't.
Yeah, but it's hot, so hot and spicy is. Anyway,
I don't think it'll do something.
do you want to do anything before you are going to sleep?
I'd like to converse with Dio real quick, but you can do the others first.
I don't have anything on my plate for the night.
Well, Arhant is when he enters his room and closes the door behind him, will take a big gulp from the bottle of water and drinking quite a bit of it. Having blowing will be doing a blowing sound or something like sighing like
Exhale heavily.
exhale. Yeah, thank you. Like he is having as if a burden has been taken off his shoulders, and being glad that he no longer carries that book and that he's rid of it. And he will take the holy symbol of the great catfish of wisdom, clasp it in his hands, and offer a little prayer to the great catfish, thanking him that in his almighty wisdom and knowledge, they gave them they put them on the way of the mansion, and thus a way of getting rid from that book. So in the mindset of Arhant, in his mind, all this has been, I will not say ordained, but guided by the great catfish of wisdom. So he believes that the great catfish has intervened, despite the fact that the Duke seems to let know that it's his doing and blah 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 and whatever. But Arhant just believes that it is the great catfish being a deity, and that a deity must be stronger and more powerful and more knowledgeable than any demon. So he will pray and thank the great catfish for the opportunity that has been given to him to be rid of the book, and he will drink another mighty gulp from the water bottle, change himself for the night, and go in bed with hoping that he will have a quiet night without dreams or nightmares or anything like that, or visions. And that's
Yeah,
what.
let's do the others before
Yes,
we find out how quiet your night is going to be.
Oh, no. Damn it! Damn you!
Yeah, Mel's is simple, just basic maintenance of his crossbow, oiling different parts, tweaking stuff, but nothing really crazy.
And Maurice seems to be deafened right now, so let's unquiet our Hans Knight. What you see is you are standing inside of a dome made out of thorny vines, and the whole place is pretty dark by just by the vines and the thick leaves and greenery growing from it. And the floor is littered with skeletons of humans as well as forest creatures. There is a throne upon which a creature that kind of looks like, I guess, like a deer person, but with long teeth and claws. Or not, less deer, more stag. It has antlers, although those also seem sharpened. Everything about it seems to be very sharp and predator-like, even though it has those deer-like antlers and hoofs. Its tail also ends in a blade. It sits upon a throne. Next to it is an elf chained wearing a crown. Next to you stands... Actually, no one stands next to you, but as you gaze upon that deer creature, it stands up and you cast a spell that you yourself don't really know. Raising basically turning a bunch of the corpses on the ground, basically inflicting them with fungal growths, and raising 12 elks that just 12 undead elks that just charge the deer creature, and then you wake up. Not a long dream, but a confusing one. Honestly, at some point I should just throw just a normal dream that's just normal dream weird in it that has absolutely no prophetic properties at all.
Yeah.
All my dreams are lately quite prophetic. What the hell? Why am I cursed like that? Why is Arahant cursed like that? But casting. Okay, so he has risen skeletons of animals
Yes.
in that dream. Well, he will wake up with a gasp. And almost feverishly will go to his spell book, his spell book, and start fluttering in the pages and looking if the spells that the entity in the book gave or replaced, put into his own spell book while taking other spells away. If any of those spells are still in it or not. And he's referring to animate death, summon undead, vampiric touch, and blight.
Those spells are still in there. Though there also are a number of expensive inks on the table that would allow you to put those spells that that were stolen back into the book.
And what were those spells again? Because I don't
They were stolen so abruptly that you've lost memory.
Yes.
I also forgot. But I think you should just still have them on your spell list because you could cast them still with the other book. So,
He's forgotten them so hard that he's went back to a former edition's Wizards where they need to remember all their spell casts. Yeah. I have 2 fireballs for the day. That's it.
That was 3rd edition, I think.
Yes, I have 2 fireballs. We need another 3rd level slot or 3rd level spell. I got fireballs.
I've played in all the editions from 1st onward to this one, and I think it was indeed 3rd edition where you had to not only prepare but also memorize. And if you wanted to teleport, you had to guess how many times you would use the teleport spell, and you had to learn that. For example, if you said, "Well, I guess I will have to use it 3 times," then you have to study it 3 times. And
yep, I prepared 3 teleports. That's what we got.
Yep.
Okay. Well, he is still distraught by the fact that those necromantic spells are in his spell book, but he will start writing the spells that were lost. He will be writing them back into his spell book, making it complete again. Well, it's not because they're in my spell book that I have to use them. So. And at least I'm no longer tempted to, or I no longer have a being that will tempt me to use them. So that's maybe a good thing. And we'll close his book and return to sleep, and I return to bed, and hoping that the next portion of the night that he has will be uneventful.
You will not ever get a night without dreams again.
Or else I will do a remake of Star Trek 2 in which Kirk is crying out, "Khan!" But then I will use another name.
Okay. Yeah, I think your next stream will just be the entirety of I guess the entirety of Star Wars: A New Hope, but played in stop motion with potatoes as the characters. That sounds like a very normal dream.
Okay.
And if you have any prophetic visions of that,
the one I had was like, it's just Arahant just in a giant cup of tea, but he's like bathing in the cup of tea.
I now have tea in my nose.
It's like, I hope I never find myself in this situation. And then some big entity drinks the tea, and he's like, ah!
That is your punishment from the great catfish of wisdom, Jan. That's your punishment. I am blessed by a god. Yes. Revenge, finally. Beside that,
yeah.
That is what that's what it's about. Arahant, unless our DM has something else in store, but up to the others.
No, not really.
On to the others.
Maybe in the morning you would actually in the morning you hear a knock upon your door.
What was that?
In the morning, let's say after you finished or while you're writing those spells, you hear a knock upon your door.
Yes, enter.
And it's the Duke's daughter. So you're quite the wizard, aren't you?
Well, I do not consider myself on the same level as my teacher, Mistress Glenmere. She is much more accomplished than I am in arcane matters. But I do pride myself of being a wizard, yes.
Then never heard of your teacher. But may I have a quick peek through your book?
Sure. As if I recall correctly, you're also a student of the arcane. The last time we were at at this manor, a colleague of mine, Finn Ranor, and myself were permitted to copy some of the spells you had.
Yes. And she
By all
just
means.
yeah, she just flips through your spell book, like she's just flipping through a catalog, looking for anything interesting. Oh my god, you have so many cantrips. How did they become so many?
It's because
2 spells.
Yeah,
do
but
not
still, it's
there
many.
are also those from my cleric, eh?
Okay. Oh yeah, that's.
So
Okay.
yes, unfortunately, I have tried to.
It's still 12.
Well,
Yeah.
something must have been wrong here.
Why? Why was something have been wrong here? It's definitely not interested in the first level spells. I don't think there's actually anything in there that's really interesting to her. Okay.
The cleric
These spells
list.
are weak.
The cleric lists starts with command. So all those above in the first spell list, all those above command are the spells from being a wizard, which are fixed, while the cleric list is complete in the sense that at every long rest,
I know.
I can change. So all those spells.
But on the
are in
cantrips, the cleric list shouldn't be complete. But yeah. Anyway, she doesn't really find anything that piques her interest specifically, and says, disappointing, but maybe the next time you find some interesting spells. I might have a peek again. And with
Of
that,
course.
she leaves again.
Arahant will make to himself a small remark. Apparently, she's not much into divination.
I'm pretty sure you had a lot of your divination spells were actually in her in the list of spells that you copied from her.
Yes, indeed. That's true.
I remember those spells when I was 12.
Yes. And while the door closes, you can still see her walking in the direction of Clark's store.
Mhm.
But yeah, where's Maurice? This is... Okay, it's the morning. Mel, anything you want to do in the morning?
Just get a breakfast and reconvene with the rest of the party.
Okay. Yes, breakfast is a breakfast would just be brought into your rooms. Mostly it's white bread with a lot of different cheeses, jams. There's actually also some egg, honey, different meats, maybe a pickle.
Didn't say that I'd want a pickle in the morning.
It's a German thing.
Oh, okay.
There's like a German thing where it's like a slice of bread, or is it usually toast? I think it's usually toast with a slice of ham, an egg, and a pickle.
Sounds odd to me, but
Yeah.
to each their own. But yeah, he'll take a bit of each.
Yeah. Yes, and the breakfast tastes great. Um. Just like anything you have eaten in here, it looks and tastes quite expensive.
Yes, the lap of luxury.
He's a duke after all.
Well, I mean, it's good to enjoy this now because we're going to be eating on rations for the next little bit. Just hardtack and biscuits, basically.
The actually standard price rations also include honey.
Okay, so you can make it slightly more palatable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the big misconception though with like ration stuff is like you don't typically just eat the rations as rations. Like most time you make like a little stew or something with it. Especially a lot of the meats, because like actual salted pork, which was a very common trade good, like you don't really want to eat that like
Yeah.
as is. Like it's one of the better ones too, because it's at least still soft, unlike salted beef, which is like you'll break your teeth trying to eat it. Because it's not the same as jerky as people think.
Yeah. I think there's also like hard cheese and some other stuff in there. That's like rations are actually, and I think rations include white meat, but not like but not like those super heavily salted meat. Just yeah, jerky basically.
Yeah, I lean more on the jerky in the spectrum. Yeah, with like stuff like salted pork stuff, you're expecting that to last like a year. You take something that was only going to last a day or two tops, and you give it a shelf life of a year. So that's pretty huge.
And yeah, you had breakfast, and Maurice isn't back yet, so I guess you won't be having a morning routine.
Filibuster.
Um,
Well, I have to say that the dungeon master did state that Arahant saw the daughter of the Duke.
exactly.
So,
And
so everything can happen.
shortly after she leaves, and a while later, before Clark comes out of his door, you hear him just yell, "Ah, what the!" And or I guess he wouldn't yell "what the fuck" in character, or maybe he specifically would, but whatever.
Yeah, he probably would. He's a dwarf. They've got a generally a more what's the word?
Grumpy disposition.
Yes.
Yeah, like a more gruff. Like they're not very eloquent in a lot of ways. I interned under one. I should know.
And as you see him walk into the hallway, I almost said into the floor, but that's also a very anyway a German translation error. But yeah, into the hallway, you see that on his hand there's a burn mark that or like on the palm of his hand there's a burn mark very clearly spelling stop being creepy.
So Clarsan?
Yes.
A burn mark that is?
Yeah, that is just it's literally like with a almost like it was done with a branding iron.
Mm.
Or with a doorknob that had heat metal cast upon it.
Nice.
But yeah. And it just said stop being creepy. Yes.
Where is he, by the way?
I don't know. I don't even think he said for what reason he left. But
Well, last thing he said was that like there was that car he was watching, or that had been out there for hours, and they looked at him and they drove off. So like maybe I don't know. I'm hoping nothing nefarious has occurred, but
yeah, I hope so too.
the fucking pickle. I just saw the picture you posted. I mean, the rest of it looks good. The pickle just stands out to me. Like it's just why?
Anyway. And I guess if there's nothing else that you want to do in the manor, you are being escorted. Being escorted out sounds like you are being thrown out. You are shown to the door, let's say.
Go on, get. Yeah, but we've overstayed our welcome a bit. Like, yeah, go do what you got to do. You can roll out.
And where are you headed?
Do we need to get any supplies? We're going into the forest. Is it just the forest, or is there going to be any like spelunking or anything to that extent that we know of?
You were told just about the forest, not about any caves or
Okay,
things like
okay.
that.
To make sure we didn't need to stock up more on torches or anything like that.
No, it was only.
How long was the travel going to be? That was the other thing.
Into the forest should be more. It should be more calculated in. Let's say it would be calculated in hours. Walk through the forest, not in days.
Okay, so rations aren't a huge concern. Gotcha. Okay.
And
Alright.
in that case, I suppose we could go right into the forest and go in search for ash leaves.
Well, I don't need to really stock up on anything. We got a couple healing potions if we need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Already have some.
So you're headed immediately for the forest.
Yep.
And do you have any strategy for searching, or are you just?
We did had a long rest.
Yes. You
I
did.
will have, then I
You
will have to
slept.
re-roll my.
And
Point die.
and it
15
wasn't
and
actually 100 degrees, so you don't even get exhaustion. You actually lose one exhaustion. If you still have some. I think some of you might still have exhaustion.
I think it was ironically our party members that are no longer with us.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was the other members.
Yeah, because Mel had a good time. A little jog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, as you make it deeper and... No, wait, you still haven't answered. If you have a specific strategy for searching through the forest, or are you just going straight in? And just...
I mean, other than like the direction that the medicine woman gave us, not really.
Okay.
Obviously, keeping an eye out for the whole center thing that the Duke mentioned about the crown and such.
Yeah. And then you guys can both give me a perception check.
Perception.
Yes, it doesn't take you long to figure out that at least on the to basically on the, let's say, first hour in, where you're still in the relatively bright part of the forest, that you don't really find the herb that you're looking for. Leading you to believe that you might need that you need to go, deeper in. But what you do notice is you do notice some movement, basically just straight ahead of where you're going, where you can make it out like through a shrub ahead of you.
Well, what can we make out? Movement.
A movement in a shrub. About how far in front of us?
The movement is behind the shrub, not in the shrub. Like you can make it out
okay.
looking through it, basically. Like it's
Okay.
relatively far behind the shrub. I would say 100 feet.
Something that is moving in the shrubs. Okay.
Does it seem like aggressive movement?
It seems very slow movement. And looking at it more clearly, it definitely is a humanoid shape.
Oh well. Mal will aim his crossbow ready to down it if it decides to make itself into something more threatening, but slowly creeping up to get a better look at it.
Give me a stealth.
Make it straight roll because I have advantage, but I also have disadvantage. Okay, it's a 20. I don't know why it's still. I guess I haven't coded in the other thing. Yeah, 'cause I have the advantage from the mist shoes, but I have disadvantage because I have heavy armor. I guess it just or medium armor that has the negative quality of
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So I need to
So,
go
what you see is it looks very much zombie-ish. Wait, I'll just do.
God, hopefully not that big.
Yeah, no, I just dragged it big so you can properly see
I
it, and
gotcha,
then I make
I
it small
gotcha.
again.
It,
Yeah.
it grew as I grew closer.
An undead creature with reddish skin out of which the fungus seems to grow.
Yeah. That don't seem natural.
It doesn't seem to have spotted you yet. If it
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm
obvious.
gonna look to down it because I can't imagine that being good. So I'm gonna take a shot at him.
Okay. Take a shot. I guess that's a surprise round.
$17.
Yup, that hits.
Nice. Your
Boy.
crossbow is called Abigail.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
Named after his wife.
You give him a good shot in the back of the head. Holy moly, 20 damage.
Fortunately, I still don't have a second attack unless I waste or use up an action surge. So that's what I got.
Yeah. Wait, I said it was before you went to the shrub about 100. Let's put it 70 feet away now. Yeah, give me an. Why is everyone in initiative already?
I may not have cleared the last one. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just.
What's the quick
Give
initiative
me
now?
initiative, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And don't forget to select your tokens because of roll 20. Exactly.
I'm trying to find where that modifier is at.
Oh boy, you lost initiative to a zombie.
Yeah. He rolled high.
Why can't I press this button? Why can't I sort it? I mean, it by accident is correctly sorted. But I somehow can't click the turn order options.
It's odd.
Anyway, I can at least drag the turn order over here, so Twitch can see it. Yeah, the options menu just doesn't do things. Yeah, currently 70 feet away, the zombie just dashes towards you.
Yes, it makes probably 60. Actually, those
No,
zombies are kind
40.
of slow. Yeah, these zombies are pretty slow.
Yeah, Mel.
I'm taking a shot at him. Only a 10.
That Would have hit a normal zombie, not this one though.
I will do a whatever the heck my maneuver is that I can't think of right now.
Precision attack?
Precision, yeah, that one. I was like, there's a word for helping things.
Yeah.
Aiding in my aim. Oh, it's an 18 now.
That hits. And here comes the damage.
I am back.
Roll
You
that initiative,
missed.
boyo. We're fighting a zombie.
Oh god.
You may or may not have missed a few things. Also, you burnt your hand.
Thank
You got a nice brand on your hand. Check out later.
Yeah. Anyway, you can roll initiative. Then we'll just put you in the order on the right spot. Though I guess I can't auto sort it for whatever reason.
Okay.
We just go to our hand for now, though.
2.
Man, that zombie took 35 damage. He's a stocky dude.
Yeah, that zombie. I mean, it's pretty hard to notice how hurt a zombie actually is, just because they don't really flinch or anything.
Yeah, they lurch
They
a
just-
bit more. I mean, I'll back up. I guess
they
I could've
just-
said that.
Keep walking, and yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna back up 30 feet.
our hand.
I don't want it in melee with me.
Arahant will take his holy symbol and say, and his eyes are starting to glow white and blue again, and he says, "Begone, thou foul beasts, thou abomination!" And he
What's
will
the?
cast,
You
and
can't.
he will cast guiding bolt.
Oh, okay, guiding bolt. I was about to ask what's the range on turn undead, but that also works.
120.
Yeah, guiding bolt obviously has enough range. Then roll to hit.
17 to
Nice.
hit,
That hits.
40 radiant damage.
That the creature doesn't seem. It doesn't seem particularly extra vulnerable to radiant damage. Oh, I found out why I can't sort, because they have the turn order settings minimized, and that's why they wouldn't open, because I had them open the whole time. But just in a mini thing. Okay. But yeah, it seems to be quite perturbed by all the damage it took.
And it is now glowing softly with a divine white bluish light, granting advantage to the next attack roll that is done to him.
Exactly.
Uh,
Anything else you want to do on your turn? Why did I just move the paladin?
He will squishy wizard, so 10. He will go back 20 feet.
Okay, Cloud.
I am going to run up to him
Yeah.
and attack with my war pick.
And you have advantage
All right.
because of my guiding bolt.
There we go. 26
Hey!
natural.
That's a critical.
And I'm gonna smite that.
You're going to smite that.
Oh yeah, of course.
You got to.
Yes,
Even if it's overkill, you have to just to roll the dice.
yes, indeed. I mean, you're a
Then-
paladin for something.
Give me damage.
How do I smite actually?
Smite
don't-
hard.
I think you just use normal
Spend
dice
one
to
spell
just roll
slot.
the 8s. Like I don't think that's actually a smite button in World 20.
Sometimes
Normally.
it adds a damage thing. It just depends on how you made your character sheet.
No, with smite it specifically doesn't, because smite's damage is just variable.
Okay.
So one sec, I'll roll the damage with the Warpig first. At 17 damage.
Nice. And is he classified as undead? Because if so, he gets an extra D8.
That very much is a zombie. It's classified as
Okay,
undead.
okay. I didn't know if he'd be more plant or something to that effect. Yeah, if you use the first level spell slot, it'd be 3d8 or 6d8 because you crit.
So plus 68.
Yep, 6d8.
68? No.
6d8, like die
It's in
8.
total, in
Roll
total.
6, die 8.
Why
Yeah.
6?
Because it's double.
Oh yeah, because it's critical. Oh yeah.
Yep.
16.
Okay. So Undead Fortitude doesn't trigger through criticals and through radiant damage, and this is
Yeah.
both. So it just explodes into a cloud of spot, and you can give me a con save.
Oh, no. Screw you, melee player. Oh, nice. There you go.
21. Both times.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't have advantage.
Yay! You didn't get infected.
Yeah, I don't know what that is,
And
but
the
that's
spore cloud washes over you harmlessly.
Well, at the what level are we now?
4.
Level
4.
4. Well, if he went all the way as paladin, and he would have divine health. So
Ah, true. Yeah, that.
But he would
Yeah.
still take 2d8 necrotic damage.
Yeah, but eventually he gets like stupid saves because paladins get stupid saves.
Yes, they do.
I
Yes.
got 4 strength, 0 dex, 3 con, 0 intelligence, 2 wisdom, and 3 charisma.
Yeah, you'll get to add your charisma to all of those eventually.
Yeah.
Even
You-
ones you already that literally your charisma save, which already has charisma, you get to add charisma to it again. It's dumb.
Yes, you successfully beat a zombie.
He was a pretty tanky zombie. He took a lot of damage.
Yes.
yeah.
You surmise that being surrounded by those might be very dangerous.
Yeah.
Although you
Would
have
say
not
there.
seen what they actually can do to you.
Yeah, and I don't plan to. But I kind of like look at the other two, like, well, be on guard for whatever the hell that was.
And now it's time for a flashback to last evening and what happened with Clark.
Oh, true.
So, what kind of conversation did you have with your pet rock in the evening?
As he's
Yeah, well-
inhaling these vapors, he like recalls fondly of his conversation.
Pull out the rock and pet him a bit and say, so I met this girl.
Yes?
She seems nice. I kind of want to get to know her. Problem is, she's the daughter of some really high up guy.
Probably at this point, like close when he feels that sharp pain in his hand.
That's no. What does you even answer? So. And what exactly is the issue?
Should I go for it?
Yes.
All right, I'll go for it. Thank you, man.
Yes, and with that, are you done heading to bed?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. As you wake up the next morning, do you do anything specific before you leave your room?
Is there a shower?
Not in your room.
I
There
would like to
might
go.
be like something like not bathhouse because that would be a separate house. What would you call an indoor bathhouse? Like that's still like the
Just that indoor
size. I guess
bathhouse.
it would just be a very big bathroom.
Yeah, I'll head there and get
Um,
myself like as clean and nice as possible. There's a question from Demonor.
I know. I will not eat another chili. Also, it has been the standard that it doesn't. Anyway, yeah. So, as after you're done with everything to do in your room, you move to leave the room and touch the doorknob. You feel a stinging pain in your hand, as if the doorknob is very, very hot.
Oh, I let go of it and
Yeah.
knock on the door.
Like the doorknob to leave your room. Why would you? Wait, you still knock on the door?
Yeah, maybe someone can open it for me.
I don't know if anyone else in the party wants to open it for you.
It also depends on when he gets up, but probably not.
Yeah, but as you look on your hand, the words "stop being creepy" are burned into it. Probably regarding your comments at the banquet.
Okay. I follow him.
You follow who?
You said someone was there saying something about the banquet.
No, I said the words. I said the doorknob is hot, and the words have been basically branded onto your hand. Literally just the words "stop being creepy." Also, you take 1 point of fire damage, I guess.
Okay.
Playing hard to get.
Well,
Also, I love how I.
She's a daughter of a noble, so.
Also, I love how I prepared that, already told the rest of the group that that is kind of what's going to happen, and then you tell the whole story. I met this girl and she seems to be nice, and
It
then
was
she just
perfect.
burns your hands.
It was perfect.
I mean, remember what that fortune teller told you about your love life?
It's gonna be rocky.
It's all coming back.
Yes.
Rocky means it's gonna be hard, not that it's gonna be impossible.
Yes, that's what she meant.
Yeah, love through trepidation.
And you're back in the forest. And the spore-induced flashback episode is over. Yes, as you move deeper into the forest, you can give me either a survival or a perception roll, whichever of those two you want.
Same
Everyone
for me.
or
Yeah, any of the
everyone?
two. Yeah, all three of you can decide for one of those each.
What would it be? Perception or?
Survival.
Ain't gonna be me this time, boys.
Mm, yeah, it will be perception. Survival is not that great.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And none of you manage to actually find any ash leaf. So as you are, you just keep wandering deeper and deeper into the forest, and you all can give me a stealth roll again. And I will just take the party average for that.
What? What?
A stealth.
Stealth.
Oh god.
Okay, it'd still be. No, it'd be the 15 this time. I just don't know how to turn off that heavy armor thing or to
And it
modify it.
just, I don't think it can actually be turned off, even though you have those boots. It just, I think you might remove like a check at the in the attack in the inventory, but yeah, our hand stealth.
It is the 15.
Oh wait, our hand already rolled stealth. It's just in the same block. Okay.
They're not very good.
Yes.
Just suck.
Thankfully thankfully the zombie rolled was it a 6 or 7 on its perception check? A 6. So you still manage to see a group of roaming zombies before they see you,
Nice.
giving you enough time to either get a surprise round or decide to avoid them. It's
Well,
a
how
group
many?
of 3 of them.
3 of the ones we just fought?
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want them creeping up on us later. But we don't have an advantageous position. Yeah. I kind of motion like that I want to take the shot. I'll see what the other visual cues for my party members are.
Well, you should avoid them.
You want to avoid them? Look in the Clarth.
Maurice is deafened again. What is going on? Okay, he doesn't get a vote.
Damn, now it's 50-50. Roll the dice. Evens will shoot, odds will avoid. Shooting it is.
So, and as you're readying to take the shot, I think I would want to end today's session, as that fight will probably take quite a while. I mean, you aren't that many people, but yeah. It would still probably take quite a while. Then, yeah, I would first like to thank, I guess I would thank Patrick for the promise of money that he owes me anyway. But yeah, thanks to all the first-time chatters and to way too long name for following. And yeah, I guess the party can say bye first, and then I will sign off. And actually, I have a high enough viewer count to hold someone without it being embarrassing.
Hey, nice. Well, take it easy, everybody. See you next time.
Until next time, and indeed, be careful.
Yeah, so until next time, have a good one, everyone, and we will be raiding a friend of mine. Boom. Cool. And with that, I can just